Welcome to Mitchell Levy Presents, where I dive into the essential elements of clarity and credibility. Hosted by global credibility expert Mitchell Levy, today's episode offers invaluable insights to make you think and act more credibly. Join us as we explore living your values, boosting your credibility, and leading purposefully. Hi, Mitchell Levy, global credibility expert, and welcome to Nowadays, I'm having so much fun every day, but let me say, this is one of the funnest times of my week where I get to interview an expert on how they go about living their values. And today we have Mike Horne with us. Mike, hey, thanks for joining us.
Mitchell Levy, I am delighted to be a guest on your podcast.
Well, we ended up swapping, but just because we liked each other. But so my audience knows, Mike, who are you?
Well, I think about this in the professional and the personal realm. I think it's where the intersection I've been exploring most of my life. I'm a coach, I'm a teacher, I'm a consultant. If I think about my roles in big corporations, advising chief operating officers, being part of chief human resources officer teams, working in big global consulting firms, being a partner in one of them, I'm always thinking about this distinction between, or this blend, perhaps, of the personal and the professional. So all of the roles I've had as an executive in HR or as a global consultant really make me think about, I'm a coach, I'm a teacher, I've taught in universities, I teach in one now, and I help help executives and their teams to relieve problems. But on the personal side, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a grandfather. All of those, have some part in this blend of bringing more of who I am to what I do.
Let's explore these personal roles. Which one's, I know which one's the most funnest, but you tell me of your personal side and the roles you play, which is the most fun?
Well, I don't know if it's attributable to Jung. I think it was, in the process of becoming the person who I am. So in all of these, variations over life seasons, it is that opportunity as a person to really become who you are, to understand who you're not, to hopefully work on your strengths and bring those to flourish. So again, you can bring those talents to larger audiences.
All right, I'm going to step back. Let me ask you again. So what's it like to be a grandfather? Is that like, I thought that was the first, I might be wrong. It seems like what's the most fun? Grandfather. All right, tell me why. But all right, what's the most fun?
Well, I don't. Yeah, I enjoy being a grandfather. I mean, it is stressful to be left with an infant for a few hours. There's that side of it too. Despite familial love and all of that, I think having good self-awareness leads to good social interaction. Whether it's with your partner or whether it's with your clients or the people with whom you work, your colleagues, whether it's with your grandchild. It's having some good sense of self-awareness that enables you to live out your values.
I assume that means your kids are local, or at least one of them.
Neither are local to me.
Ah.
Neither are local to me. One is in, I'm in Southern California. One is on the East Coast, and another is not too far away in the Bay Area.
Gotcha. Still 6 hours drive is still far enough. Yeah. Oh, interesting. What?
I don't drive 6 hours a day anymore either, so it's a 2-day trip.
Oh my! Life has changed.
And since I don't do that, I fly, so it's all fine.
Absolutely. Actually, I'm thinking I'm in Northern California. My brother lives in Southern California, and it's been a while since we drove there, and it's only 6 hours. Yeah, well, I guess we have flown last couple of times.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Anyhow, I'll have to get back to that.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that for what you and your wife would do together that would be considered fun? What would that be?
We've been, enormous travelers. This year we spent time in Turkey, in Istanbul, Cappadocia, Ankara. We spent a lot of time at the beach. We spent a fair part of the summer, about 6 weeks, visiting what I'd call, the Civil Rights Trail in the United States. Little Rock, Birmingham, Selma, Jackson, Meridian, um, Birmingham. So that's part of who we are, and certainly have a lot of fun from that.
Actually, very cool. We spend more time overseas than we do in the United States.
Hmm.
What was fun for you in the travel? And then I'm gonna, by the way, follow up that question is what was the biggest surprise?
Well, I think travel always opens you to a new world of possibilities. In my late 20s, I was a Peace Corps volunteer in the Solomon Islands in the Southwest Pacific. Some people might describe the Solomons as the fourth world because you're on these tiny, very remote islands in the middle of the Pacific, around the equator. And, for the most part, at that time, 30 years ago, I mean, people were living outside of a cash economy. I think mobile's changed so many things. Um, but I think it's being open to the possibility and looking at the world in different ways. When I did some work in shamanic training, it was being able to suspend your beliefs. And that's part of what I think you bring to coaching. What I bring to coaching and consulting is being willing to suspend your beliefs about a certain set of circumstances. Not to say I've seen this before and here's how you ought to do it, but rather being open to the possibilities of growth and change and development.
It's funny. I just finished a coaching session and my words were, I've seen this before, and that doesn't mean it'll work this way for you, but let me give you a couple ideas. Yeah.
In academic environments, years ago, we used to be concerned about plagiarism. Now it's all AI, and so much of it is undetectable. The world shifts, the world changes. So we have to think about the solutions that are right for the individual and are right for the team and right for the organization at the moment in time. It is, in some ways, situational, right?
So traveling in the US, meeting people there, any positive or negative surprises from a people perspective?
I think it's, what you learn about yourself first, uh, uh, that comes out of those interactions that can be created either by accident or by choice. And certainly, I think about my conversation that I had with one of the workers at the um, museums of lynching. I mean, very powerful kind of place. I think about the conversations with one of the folks who walked across the bridge in Selma. So, yeah, you get moved by these very different experiences. I think about folks with whom I've consulted and seeing differences or changes that they make that um, are meaningful.
I'm going to say I hear you, and is there something there that sort of changed the way you thought about something, or an experience you took that you got to apply once you got back here into your job?
Well, I'm a Lewinian by background, in terms of thinking about organizations and thinking about people. So it sort of starts with me with the foundation. With the foundational Lewinian equation that behavior is a function of person and environment. So I think about this again, self-awareness. Who am I? Understanding my values. I think about how that gets conditioned by the environment and where I choose to put myself, position myself, how the rest of the environment positions itself around me. Yesterday, I had a conversation with a teacher who told me that she needed a break. And at 77, she's leaving. She's headed to India for 5 or 6 weeks. Then she's headed to New Zealand for 4 or 5 months. And it's these kind of intentions that we make with the world, I think, that helps us direct the significance of our lives.
77. It's interesting that she called it a break. I mean, that's a really positive attitude. That's really,
Sure.
yeah, I really like that. So, in your focus and the things that you do, it's interesting when we spoke, we came up. My audience will know what the concept of a CPOP is, your customer point of possibilities, and we came up with one which I really enjoyed because it really does seem to reflect who you are. And it's R&D execs reliving personal or team-based pain. Tell me what that means to you.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when I studied with Bob Keegan and Lisa Leahy at Harvard and the immunity to change work. And I worked with Bob and Lisa for a couple of years. Like one of the first things that Bob said was that, many people believe that coaching is about getting happier, being better. He had a perspective that, well, maybe it was just about the elimination of some suffering. And so I think that's true. And yet I see forward, it is amazing to watch teams and individuals, to watch individuals and teams make forward leaps in the differences that they make in the world, how they can express their dominance, how they can make a difference in the environment.
So you said they thought that way, but do you believe that coaching is really about the elimination of some suffering?
Oh, absolutely.
Interesting.
It's
Now,
about the reduction in pain in some way. Most of my clients, whether they come to me as an executive, a CEO, founder, a member of a C team, most of them come to me because they're in some sort of transition, whether it's with themselves as an individual or whether it's with something they want to do with their team or larger organization. And in these transition points, it is all about letting go, moving forward, understanding the space in between the past and the future. Can be a very creative place for growth and opportunity. But as Bill Bridges said, you have to let go before you move forward. You have to acknowledge the past before you can move forward.
I hear you. And the end is, what is as an example of, since you gave the example of a C-suite in transition, what would be the typical pain that they're reducing?
Friction, some type of friction, often caused by personal interaction. Where I have the opportunity to work with very talented people, very successful people that are always looking to do a little bit better. And maybe some of their habits rub others the wrong way. Maybe they're not as effective as they could be in driving a team result or team performance because they've been so successful based on individual accomplishment and interrogating others so that they could learn more. So I think any of these opportunities, generally with very talented, creative leaders, can really move the needle for themselves and for their team or for their organization. Unfortunately, sometimes my work is, board directed. Somebody on the board decides to hire me because they're having problems with the founder. Company's grown to X size. Is this the right, leader for our future? Not an uncommon problem. And I've helped to bring solutions in that space.
So given that, are there times in which you say no? Board asks you to do something and you say, yeah, no, sorry, can't work with this person.
It's, unfortunately, Mitchell, unfortunately, it doesn't often happen until I step into it. And sometimes when I step into it, I realize I made a bad decision. And I usually bring that up to a client as soon as I start feeling that way.
How long does that typically take? If it's happened more than once,
Oh,
is there?
it has happened, you know, in ways that are painful to me. It happened on 2 occasions. One time I was about 3 sessions into it. Another, was about 2 days into it.
Now, what for me, I want to share. For me, it's often times when I recognize that they're not coachable.
Yeah.
Right? Is that the same for you?
Well, I've had some people who come to me who don't want to be coached. That's for sure. Who are there at the direction of somebody else, the chief human resources officer, their boss. And generally in those situations, you're working on some compliance related issue. It's not worth anybody's time. So this issue about being, having integrity, being authentic about it is so important. My book 2021 was Integrity by Design, working and living authentically. How do you bring all that together? So I think all of that's so important, how it hangs together and how you can at least have your words match your behaviors. Better yet, if you can map your cognitions to that too.
How does it feel for you? You said yes, and then you said no. Does that feel good or bad, or is it just?
Oh, it feels bad. It's always, and it's a situation from which to learn. Usually some of my clients, because they are so accomplished and so successful, when they recognize or they meet failure, it's like, the H bomb is going off. And often from my perspective, the world looks very much the same. So that's the benefit of having an external consultant, is for somebody to bring that external view that often when you're in an organization, you don't get that benefit, particularly if you're in the C-suite. People are sucking up to you in different ways, or one way or another. It's a power game.
So you've said you're coachable. You like to learn. Everything's a learning opportunity, which is fun. What surprises you from a personal, since we start with yourself, from a personal perspective, what surprises you in terms of something that took just longer to learn, or to, in Silicon Valley speak, longer to grok than you really thought it would?
Yeah, well, I think about this concept about learning is fun, and I would challenge that. I would say that most learning for adults is fraught with anxiety and fear and upset, because you're coming to terms with what you're doing and what you're not doing, and as you sort of resolve or set a goal on a new dimension or a new behavior, certainly you have to encounter both.
So is all learning fraught with pain? And
I think most adult learning, most significant learning, imagine that you're, in your 40s or your 50s, and you decide to take up a new hobby. let's say it's skiing, downhill skiing, and you watch these 6-year-olds, having lots of fun. And,
Dude,
you know,
you picked
um,
you picked a scenario that's very easy to go. Yeah, that's painful. Got it.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Anything to
Any
help be
physical sport got
illustrative.
that. But how about like cooking? Well, I guess you could always burn yourself.
Some people are bad cooks. Some people can't boil pasta.
if a client was going to describe you after you're done working with them, what would they say?
Well, the feedback that I typically get is that I am a very innovative, client-centered professional. I bring sort of, deep expertise in organization development. I take very creative and action-oriented approaches. Um, I think people would say, again, what people tell me, what people say is that, um, I'm influential. I really like to see people align their um, people solutions with business goals. I want you to combine that with authenticity and empathy. And hopefully that's why people trust me and why I'm able to make an impact. And I think the other piece of feedback I get too, I mean, just is that I'm a very practical and creative partner. I like to bring clarity to complex situations. Um, my coaching style. Here, I'll read directly. I mean, here's what a senior vice president for research strategy said. Mike's coaching style, rooted in authenticity and values, consistently leads to aha moments and actionable solutions. It's a great compliment for me.
It is a great compliment, and yeah, we'll leave it at that. I love that. It has all the phrases that I like to hear. How does AI get in the way of coaching today?
Oh, it's a great question. I depend a lot on AI. Um, it's surprising. I think I've become a daily consumer. If I want a more specific answer to a question I'm exploring, or I'll turn to a large language model generator for generative AI and explore it that way. It's so surprising that as recently as a year ago, I wasn't doing that. It's changed a lot I think that busy individuals, can use AI to find coaching solutions, that help them to practice feedback. I think all this stuff happens in real time and very quickly. Um, I don't think it replaces what we do. It's certainly a tool to assist.
I hear you, and I'm going to say you answered a question, but not necessarily directly the one I asked, which is how
Hmm.
does it get in the way? How's it a problem? Like how is a problem in academia since you do that? Um, but in the coaching space, is it a problem? Does it get in the
I
way?
haven't seen it get in the way yet, but that may be my particular client set, or um, that may be very much my particular client set. I haven't seen it get in the way.
I would potentially propose that it's possible for those clients you're working with that are not using it as much as they should. It's getting in the way, but you don't see it.
Could be, could very well be.
How about in academia? How's it getting in the way?
It's increasingly difficult to distinguish at times what's real. I'm on the editorial board of one journal where 3 recognized scholars submitted papers and put them through the AI generator and looked like they were AI generated. They probably weren't. These people are gifted writers. They probably have so much of the material in the public domain that the AI generators just pick it up and write from that. So, we'll have to learn more.
Hmm. Al, in terms of Golden Gate University, what sort of policies and procedures like it, I hear many faculty members are having a hard time because their students just default to the first answer that AI gives them, and they submit real crap. Have you seen that, or is it?
No, I think we're I think we're taking a different approach. We're thinking about how do we use AI in the classroom? How do we say what's appropriate use of AI in the classroom? So it's really about teaching students how to use these tools that are available.
Nice. I'm curious. Do you end up having parents who go, "What are you teaching my kids?"
Yeah, at the university where I'm at, it's a work for working adults. So I wouldn't have that, undergraduate or undergraduate to graduate school conversion, as I've seen when I've taught in some brick and mortar campuses.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't remember. I think I've spoken at a Golden Gate class way back
sure.
when, but never actually. It's so long. I'm not even sure I remember.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's interesting. Hey, so listen, if folks, if you're listening or you're watching and you're saying to yourself, I want to talk to this guy. I'm interested in. There is definitely some team based or personal pain I'm going through that I'm interested in having Mike talk to me. Mike, how best could people reach out to you?
And Joe, I'm so appreciative of your question because in the work that I do, having a connection with someone is so important. People aren't going to buy Mike Horne, or I wouldn't recommend that they buy Mike Horne off of a website. Rather, it starts with a conversation for us to, think about goals. So the easiest way to get for folks to get in touch with me, the very easiest, and I know it'll be in your show notes, but it's Horne, HORNE.com, Horne.com. Get in touch with me there. You'll find ways to our social media and all the other places, but you'll find our podcast there, our blog there, all kinds of stuff.
Nice. So based on this conversation, Mike, thanks for sharing that. Based on our conversation, is there a question I should have asked that I didn't?
Well, the right questions always show up.
That's exactly what I think. And is there something you'd like to enlighten us with that we really haven't covered yet?
Well, the only thing that we haven't covered is for me to thank you and to express my sincere appreciation for the interview and for the opportunity to be in further discussion with you, Mitchell Levy, and to encourage people to listen to the People Dividend podcast. Go to the episode that has you, and that'll be available sometime on the People Dividend podcast. So that's what I'd encourage people to do is as a way of paying it forward, is to listen to Mitchell Levy on the People Dividend
Oh,
podcast.
I appreciate that. It's so funny because when we spoke, it might have been a couple of weeks ago, we recorded a session that's coming out in April.
Yes.
And my book is actually coming out on May 7th. So I have to tell you, if you're ever doing a podcast session and you know it's going to come out in the future and there'll still be a couple weeks before the book is released, like it's you got to put yourself in this mindset. Okay, got this book. It's just a couple weeks away. Sign up now, right? But at the moment, it's a couple months away. so and
Books have a
and
long life cycle, don't they, Mitchell?
yeah, and Mike, it's so funny. I'm thinking about the person who had a conversation with you then and the person who's having a conversation with you now, and it's a different person,
Uh-huh.
right? Just in terms of my learning and my growth.
Wonderful.
And I would assume that'd be the same for you in terms of things that you do and how you show up.
Yeah, I'm always learning.
Now, Mike, thanks so much for joining me today. I
Thank you
really
so much,
appreciate
Mitchell.
it. Oh, you're welcome. And listen, guys, this is your opportunity. Take that aha moment, take that thought, take the inspiration that Mike shared with you, and spread his cred dust. Share it on some platform that you make sense. Feel free to tag him and myself. And thanks so much for spending time with us. Thanks for enjoying this show, Leaders Living Their Values. And I look forward to seeing you at the next episode. Anyhow, Mike, thanks again. And everyone else, thanks for joining us. We'll see you at the next episode of Leaders Living Their Values. Take care, everyone. Bye now. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you found value in today's episode. Like, subscribe, and share your aha moments on your preferred platform. Remember, credibility starts with clarity and living your values. Learn more at mitchelllevy.com. Until next time.